The timing of my coming of age was the Vietnam War. My way of dealing with coming back from that experience was to find solace in agriculture and connectedness of nature. Lucky for me to have discovered a place that would become a touchstone for me spiritually, frankly.
So we really are trying to connect the wines to place and have a story behind it. Yeah, because everything is a story.
The neighbor over here, John Weister, I came around a corner. He was herding his cattle down the middle of Santa Rosa Road. And I went, stop. And he comes trotting up on his steed and he says, "Hi, honey, where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to see a guy named Richard Sanford. He has a vineyard down the way." And he said, "Really? You want to go there or do you want to just stay here?" I said, "I'm going down the road. I'm sorry if I scared your cattle."
The Santa Barbara Wine Auction is on Saturday in honor of Direct Relief. And they've chosen to honor Sanford and Benedict Vineyard. And its anniversary is the 40th anniversary. So
the 40th anniversary of the first vintage from the vineyard. That was 1976.
The first bonded vintage.
Correct, yes. The first vintage was 75. This has been such a touchstone for me, and as I said, it's a spiritual place. This is where I courted my wife.
I met Richard the first year of commercial winemaking for Sanford and Benedict in 1976. They had made an experimental wine in 75, but this was the first year of commercial winemaking. I had been living in Colorado and unhappy situation and changing my life, and someone brought me out to California and ended up in Santa Barbara, and this person said, "Oh, do you want to go on this sailing trip?" It's a yacht race.
And this is where Blakeney was baptized, and they threw the holy water into the vineyard. Remember Chuck Stacy? And so it has all kinds of stories of coming of age, and it's been so important to us. Not the least of which it has created some superb wines that have been world recognized. And golly, when we started, it was just an inspiration.
He was late for the boat. He was standing on the Coast Guard cutter that was always docked in the harbor, and he was kind of waving, and another person on the boat said, "Oh, that's Sanford. Should we pick him up or should we just let him stay because he's late?" And I'm saying to myself, pick him up. And so that's how we met on this race day. Then he asked me to come up to Sanford and Benedict and saw the vineyard, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think I've died and gone to heaven.
I do think that you can taste the personality of a winemaker through the wines that they create. So there are a lot of subtle things that we do that I really think are reflected in the quality, and it's the hands of all the people who are committed to producing this beautiful wine.
The people that work in our vineyard feel they're happy to be there, and you can sense that happiness. And I think that then is translated into the vine when it's being pruned or plowed or harvested. All of that intention from the get-go and that love that's put into it is really important.
The most special thing that's happened here is in August of 2013. Our daughter Blakeney Sanford was married on the hill back up there. We had her wedding dinner down here. It was the most amazing celebration. One of those big feasts, and the wine adds another layer to all the goodness that you find in a wonderful meal. Wine and celebration wine is celebration.
I remember Robert Mondavi. He said, "I love your Sauvignon Blanc, Richard, but it'll take 20 years to build the brand." And I said, "Oh no, old man," at the time, "we're going to do it much more quickly." But guess what? It took 20 years to build the brand. And so I think there is a time part of all of this that it takes at least 10 years to develop a style of wine, and then perhaps another 10 years to develop the brand with that style. So here we are in the second decade now of Alma Rosa Winery, so we're just beginning to build the brand.
The blessings of being in the wine industry and what is, it's given us blessings in so many different ways. I think, first of all, the opportunity to live in a place as beautiful as this ranch is, and to raise our daughter Blakeney here in nature. When you're around nature all the time, you think, how do you integrate with nature and how do you keep balanced in your life? You can't just be a human being walking around and doing things that you don't consider what's going on in nature.
We're here in the Alma Rosa tasting room, which was designed by Blakeney and myself with the help of Blackbird Architects in Santa Barbara.
What's special and unique about this space, we had an opportunity to translate the ranch and bring that experience on the ranch to town. It was hard to move away from that space, but exciting to move into a new, more contemporary, sophisticated space. So we combined elements from the ranch and more urban elements and melded them together to create a new tasting environment.
Blakeney has done a super job of recreating our label.
The challenge with the label was to try to connect the elegance of the wine and what was in the bottle to place. And if you choose to do that graphically, it's really an obvious connection. But we chose to do it really subtly. So I did a number of watercolor washes, and so then we translated those to each bottle. And then the color connects to an element from the ranch. So the color on the Chardonnay is connected to the golden grasses in the summer, and the color on the Pinot Noir is the fog that's significant and what makes the region what it is. The green on the Pinot Gris is the moss that hangs, the lake and lace lichen that's in the trees, and on and on.
We've also considered nature in the way we've installed the vineyards, and without removing, any trees at all, and making a place for the animals to always be able to move through the land. We can do all the things that we can do to keep farming organically, and we've been farming organically since the 1980s.
Thekla encouraged me very much toward organic agriculture.
I just think I said one day, if we can farm the garden organically, we should be able to farm our vineyards organically. We never got ourselves certified until I kept thinking, maybe if people knew we did this, that they would follow suit, and we did. And at one point we had 400 acres certified organic, CCOF, California Certified Organic Farmers, and we're very proud of it. It keeps the health of the soil and the health of the people who are working in the vineyard. It's so important.
My parents have been awarded 2 significant awards since we last spoke to them. The first is that my dad was inducted into the Vintners Hall of Fame at Greystone in Napa Valley. We went to a great induction ceremony, and Dad was one of the only living members to be inducted into this, or to be given this award. The second award actually was just awarded recently by the edible communities, and this award is an award that would be given in perpetuity, and the name of it is the Richard and Thekla Sanford Sustainability Award. And it really honors my parents' commitment to sustainability on many levels in business and in life.
When I was a child, my grandparents had a dairy farm. On the dairy farm was this incredible garden, which was always farmed organically. It was all just completely the way to do it, just naturally, without any, thought of anything else.
Our business is without compromise, that we don't make any excuses for it. You can't sort of recycle things, can't sort of have a compost pile, you can't sort of be organic. Either you are one way or the other.
Richard and I are so interested in the balance of life, and in all parts, with ourselves and with each other and with the food we eat, and good balance in what we drink. Alma Rosa. So we came up with a little, I don't know if you call it a motto or a little statement. nature and agriculture in sustainable harmony. And that is really what it's all about.
I learned very early on that the most important thing about a grapevine is the balance. And I found that it's true in life. It's a great metaphor for a life well lived, I think.